What's up everybody, it's CJ and I'm back with another Sims 3 renovation video. So I'm not in Barnacle Bay today, we're in Evansdale County. So at the time of me recording this, the video that I'm going to talk about is not out yet. But by the time you're watching this video, that video will be out. Hopefully I'm not confusing you. So yesterday for me, I was recording the Not So Berry challenge. If you didn't know, it's a 10 generation legacy challenge that I record every single week. Each generation is basically a different color scheme. There's a different set of rules. And we're currently on generation 7, which is the pink generation. So we only really have like 3 more to go. My heir's name is Pinky, but he has a twin brother named Valentino. And in the game, we got invited to Valentino's house for a house party. And when I went, I was like, oh, this house is nice, but I was like, I kind of want to renovate it to kind of suit Valentino's needs. And he also lives there with his stepmom, Moira. So I was like, I kind of want to like furnish this house to kind of fit his needs, you know, and just kind of make it look more tailor-made for him. So I asked in that video if y'all think I should renovate this house. Now, like I said, that video isn't technically out yet. At the time of me recording this voiceover, it's not out yet. So I'm kind of just preemptively doing this on the off chance that people do say, yes, CJ, please renovate it, you know? So I'm doing that today because I really wanted to, y'all. Like, I just really wanted to make this house look like it belonged to Valentino. The house that we're furnishing is a pre-made house in a custom world called Evansdale County. Evansdale County is by My Sims Realty, and you know, the house itself is cute. My Sims Realty can make some really good worlds and some really good builds, but I kind of just wanted to, like I said, make this house look more tailor-made to Valentino. This house, I don't believe has a name, but it's located at 11 Timmons Street. Hopefully I said that right, 11 Timmons Street. So this is at first a starter home. However, it's not a starter home after I did the renovations. Valentino and Moira both have around 48,000 simoleons to play around with, so I knew that when I did this renovation I could kind of do whatever I wanted. The house ended up being, I think, 42,000 simoleons or maybe 43,000 simoleons, so it doesn't use all of their money, but this house is a little pricey. So if you're wondering, like, CJ, is this a starter home? It is not a starter home. You know, it still looks nice regardless, right? So it is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. Originally, it was a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, but I just made the bathroom into a full bathroom when I did the renovations. It basically has everything that you'll need to live. It has a kitchen and everything else. Like I said, this is more so tailor-made for my sim, and you know, since I'm doing the Not So Berry, it's a very like themed challenge, so it's very pink. I feel like Valentino's color scheme is more of like dusty pink, you know, because I feel like he's a little rough around the edges. So it's kind of funny though, because the previous generation was the orange generation, right? So their dad was like the heir. I think I either said it or at least I thought it. I was like, I could kind of see Valentino following in his dad's footsteps of being a criminal and doing criminal activity and stuff like that. But funny enough, that's the complete opposite. Valentino is in the law enforcement career, which means he's a cop, which I thought was kind of funny. And also it's kind of funny too, because Moira, his stepmom, she's a criminal. So we have a cop and a criminal living in the same house. That is funny to me. And it's also funny because, you know, I felt like Pinky was like the one that was never gonna do crime, never do anything that was, you know, rude or mean. But y'all, if you've been watching Not So Berry, that's far from the truth. Okay, Pinky is literally about to get arrested, it seems like. So I feel like it was kind of swapped around, right? Like, they're literally given opposite twins at this point. But aside from that, Valentino is also into music, so I wanted to kind of give him, you know, a little space to work on his music and to just perform and stuff like that. I kind of ran out of money by the time I got to the backyard, which I was kind of upset about. I would have loved to give him like a lot of instruments and stuff like that and maybe put a pool, but I didn't want to use all their money because I'm playing with a story progression mod when I play, and if your Sims don't really have enough money, sometimes the game will move them out or force them to like relocate to somewhere that they can actually afford. So I didn't want to like spend all his money because I wanted, you know, obviously for him to live here, if that makes sense. So I was like, let me just kind of keep it within the budget, but I would have loved to add more stuff. But he does have a guitar, and he has a guitar, I believe, in his inventory. So he has like musical instruments here. He has space to do what he wants to do and stuff like that. But as you can see now, we're in the inside of the house. So I at first was struggling, y'all, with this little bump out section. So you'll see that I have those 2 double windows right here by this half wall. I did not know what to do. So this is like where the bathrooms were, but like I don't know, yo. I didn't really think this house needed like a 1.5 bathroom. So I was like, we could either make a really long bathroom or we could have a little nook space. So I decided on the nook space. So it becomes a little like officey workspace, obviously. But yeah, like I was really struggling with that, y'all. Like I had to stop the recording. Like sometimes when I do these like renovations, it may not seem like it because the footage is sped up, but these take a while sometimes because sometimes I have to like pause the recording and like look at the build and then like, you know, like test things out. Like sometimes even before I start recording for the video, I'm like, okay, do I need to like do this? Would this work? And doing stuff like that just kind of helps with the process and makes these videos go by a little bit quicker. But even then, it takes a while, y'all, because like some of these builds I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? What am I doing? And with this layout, for the most part, everything worked, but it was just that little nook space that kind of caught me off guard, you know? So now we're over here in the kitchen. I kind of talked over a lot of it. I decided to like swap the kitchen around. So in the original build, the kitchen was on this side where the table is, but I kind of wanted it to be swapped around. So I have this area over here as the new dining spot, if that makes sense. So I'm using the table from the pets pack and I kind of mixed and matched it with some of these chairs from the base game. I don't know why, but I just thought that was kind of cool. I also wanted to include a dishwasher, and then I also added a trash can in the kitchen as well. There's also a microwave. There's also a coffee machine as well. You know, because Moira does live here, and I feel like she's the one that's doing most of the cooking, and not really Valentino, if I'm being honest. But she is an elder, and you know, you never really know how long these Sims kind of have. Orange, who was her husband, he passed away a couple parts ago, so it's really no telling how long she has left in the save file, you know? So I just thought maybe I would give her like a nice kitchen so she can make good meals and stuff like that. Funny enough, when my sim got invited to Valentino's house for the party, I actually asked him if I could spend the night because I was not going to go all the way back home. And he said, yeah. When we woke up the next day, she made us some waffles, which was kind of nice. So just wanted to give her like a nice little kitchen area. But as you can see, this is that little like nook space I was talking about. I wanted this to be like a little computer like workspace area. There is a desk in Valentino's room, by the way, but I just wanted him to have like another little workspace. I gave him a laptop, so maybe I could imagine him taking the laptop with him places and stuff like that. You know, he writes and performs his own music, so you never know when the inspiration may hit, which is kind of cool though, because like if he writes his music, Pinky, who's the heir, is more into writing novels and books and all that good stuff, so I feel like they both kind of write, but just in different ways, you know? But now we turn the camera around, so this is the living room area. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I really like this rug. The original design of it was so nice that I basically just changed it a little bit. So instead of it being blue, I want it kind of like a brownish, dusty pink gray kind of color. So instead of using that big carpet, I just kind of used one that was a little bit smaller with the same design on it. I'm using the love seats from the Ambitions pack. The coffee table is store content, and then the end table is from the base game, along with the TV as well. I also wanted to include another guitar. I think this is the one that he has in his inventory, but I wanted to use like a guitar, so I used like an older one out here. I also put a plant in the corner, and then I knew that I wanted to put this picture of a guitar, you know, I think this is from High End Loft Stuff. I wanted to use that somewhere in here, so I was like, maybe we could use it over here. And then underneath it, I'm using the bookshelf from the base game, and I just love this little area, y'all. Like, it's so cozy, everything just kind of fits nicely. Like, that's one thing I really like about building in The Sims, is just like whenever you're able to have like a nice little space and make everything look really nice, you know? So now we move on to the bathroom, and the bathroom is a lot smaller than the original house, because I feel like with only 2 Sims living here and probably 1 Sim soon, I feel like we really didn't need a big bathroom area. So there is a shower tub combo in here. There's also a toilet, and then there's also a sink. Funny enough, I didn't realize at first, but the toilet in here is like one of the cheapest ones in the game. It's the one from the late night pack, so this one will most likely break down a lot. So I was like, why don't I just kind of upgrade him a little bit? So I gave him the slightly better one from base game. I mean, again, that one probably will also break down a lot, but you know, he has a slightly better one now with his renovation, you know? And then I also used the same countertop from the kitchen, and I just put like a sink in there. The mirror is also from base game as well, but you know, I think it's still a nice little bathroom. I am going to do some play testing though, because I want to make sure that the toilet can work in here. I think it can, but I just want to make sure. I kept turning on and off move objects for this build because I wanted to make sure everything was functional, but I am going to still play test just to make sure. But now we move on to Moira's room. So I wanted her to have this room in the corner, because at first I thought that Valentino's room was a little bit bigger, but I think hers might be a little bit bigger. I don't know. But either way, I gave her this room, and her favorite color is orange. So I wanted her room to kind of be like, you know, like her favorite color, so to speak. So I used this really nice rug down here with this really nice pattern, and I was kind kind of inspired by it actually. So I ended up giving her a bed from the base game. It has an orange bed sheet on it. Her end tables are from the seasons pack, and then I gave her one of those little, like, I forgot the name of the tree, but it's a tree object. It's from the African set from the Sims 3 store, so I put that in here as well. And then I also gave her a lamp from the base game. Like, I really like the way her room turned out. I also gave her a standing mirror, and I put it over in the corner. And then, of course, I did add some curtains. Funny enough, y'all, I did not have my Sims 3 tool mod installed, so I wasn't able to, like, raise the curtains up like I would like to, but, you know, it's fine. So now we move on to Valentino's room. So maybe his room was a little bit bigger because it has an extra bump out, maybe. I found this object. It's like a sign object with, like, lights and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I could see him getting this custom made somewhere, and he uses this whenever he goes perform in the town, you know, like he brings it with him. So I was like, you know what, we'll keep it and we'll put it in the corner of his room. I wanted him to have like a little workspace so he can like write songs and stuff. So I gave him it was not technically a desk, it's technically a table, but we're gonna use it as a desk. It's from the Fast Lane stuff pack. The chair that I paired it with is from, I believe, the mid-century set. And then of course his bed is from Showtime. I also added in some posters, a lava lamp in here. He has that guitar. I put it in the corner just, you know, just to have an extra instrument, you know. His rug has the newspaper design on it. And then I also added a plant that he's been growing, you know, and I just kind of put that in the back, if you catch my drift. But anyway, now we move on to the backyard. So I really was not able to do every single last thing I wanted. I did add some more shrubs out here. I also like added more of this terrain just to kind of like fill it in back here. I did fence in the backyard, and then I also added a grill and a picnic table just so he could have one, you know, because maybe they like to cook outside, you know, you never know. But in all, y'all, that's pretty much everything for the entire video. I'm gonna do some playtesting before I release it, so by the time this video comes out, you know, everything will be out, but I'm just gonna playtest it just to make sure. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below, follow me over on Twitch while I stream a lot more The Sims, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, thanks for watching.